Well, aloha and greetings from Hawaii. I did get here, and I got here actually pretty nicely, just an hour late. And I thought I would talk today because the whole story of getting here really gave me such a clear example of what happens when we talk ourselves into a storm in a teacup, when we allow our inner drama queen to really take over. So why is this important? Well, especially with the way the world is at the moment. And a lot of people are becoming anxious about the way the world is at the moment. And it's very easy in those situations to focus on the things that we can't control or influence and get wound up and get bothered by it, rather than focusing on what we can control and what we can influence and putting the energy in there. So my story, what happened to me, I was flying to Hawaii and I knew I would be going via Seattle because you can't fly direct from the UK. And when I went to check in on the Friday morning, I noticed that Alaska, who was the partner airline from Seattle to Hawaii, was showing this weird thing that said flexible travel to Hawaii due to storms. And I thought, what is this about? So I went in, I investigated, I checked out what was going on, and there were notifications that the state of Hawaii was closing down, that the government offices were going home early, the schools were closed because there was this massive great storm, and there was flooding, and flights were cancelled, and so on and so forth. And rather than sitting and kind of reflecting on it, I began to panic because the flight was all managed by British Airways, although it was two different airlines. I couldn't connect directly with Alaska. I could with British Airways. And I didn't know. It was like, oh, but I have a hotel booked there. What happens? And I went in this kind of spiral of worry. And I contacted British Airways and they're saying, no, well, it's flying to Seattle and we have no knowledge of a cancellation from Seattle onwards. So I thought, okay, I have to go, but I'm posting on Facebook and I'm talking to my friends and, is anybody else having the same problems and all this kind of stuff. And winding myself up. Anyway, got to Seattle fine, no problem. The flight, in theory, if I talk to Alaska, the flight's going. But it's not on any of the boards. And a lot of the big airlines like Delta are cancelling their flights to Hawaii, including flights to Kona, which is where I fly into. So I'm not in a great space with all this. So, and I've got fingers over my lens. So I'm worried. And I put something on Facebook and a friend of mine says, but Jane, do you remember COVID? Because we were due to leave when everything locked down from COVID. I'd stay on a day. She said, you remember COVID? And we were all worried about would we get home? And we all got home. It will be well. And I thought, yeah, it's true. I will get there and all will be well. And actually, it doesn't serve me and does not change anything if I get myself into a panic, into a wind-up state. Because when I'm in that state, A, I'm stressed, which is not great for the body. And B, I'm focusing on my story of what could possibly go wrong. And I'm focusing on the things that I have absolutely zero control of. I have zero control over the weather, and I have zero control of whether Alaskan Airlines chooses to fly or not. And when I started to let that go and focus on, well, what can I control? My inner state, my inner thinking, how I'm dealing with this. What can I influence? Well, certainly my inner state. Probably not a lot else on this occasion. So, okay, how can I calm down? How can I focus on what I want? How can I focus on making sure that I've done everything I need to do and can do to make that happen? So checking if the thing's flying and making sure that I'm at the gate and all that sort of stuff. And it changed my experience. It changed my feeling in the moment. I felt so much better. And when I got to the gate, it was flying. We were delayed by about an hour. They said it would be turbulent. There was a bit of turbulence. I've had much, much worse. And yeah, all was well. So when we create high drama and we focus on what we don't want and we focus on what it is that we cannot control, we are bound to build up stress in the body. We're bound to create a situation for ourselves that's not healthy. So my question to you is, especially in the world as it is at the moment, what can you focus on that you can control, particularly internally? What can you focus on that you can influence? And what do you need to let go? Because you can't control it and you can't influence it and you can't do much about it. Leave it be. So, there we are. Aloha from Hawaii, and I'll catch up with you very, very soon.